The loneliness that nobody talks about. Being the one who always holds it together. There's a particular kind of loneliness that doesn't look like loneliness from the outside. It looks like strength. It looks like being capable and reliable. It looks like being the person that everybody turns to. But what this reality carries inside is a quiet exhaustion. And the question that doesn't get asked is, who holds the one who is holding everything? If you are that person, the one that the others lean on, the one who never falls apart, who is the strongest one, the firmest one. This video is about something you may not have named yet, about you and how you live your life. What I want to talk about today is not how to be less strong. It's about what strength really looks like when it finally finds its true ground. Let's talk about life as it's happening. You are the one who is holding things together. You take responsibility at work. You lead at home. You lead in your relationships. You're reliable, capable. You are always the one that the others call when things get complicated and they need somebody to help them navigate through it. And this competence is really real. The things you have built through it are real. But there is something underneath that we need to talk about and that never gets mentioned by others. It's your inner sense of tension. There is a vigilance that doesn't switch off. A sense that if you loosened your grip on things even slightly, something would fall apart. The weight on your shoulders is permanent and it's always there. And you've learned to live with it naturally. So where this comes from, this is the archetype of the emperor, a very powerful emperor, but it is operating from the shadow. The emperor in its essence is the archetype of genuine authority. It's being able to build a structure that others can trust. It's being able to hold strength that holds the line, the capacity to build something solid for others to stand on. But in its shadow pattern, it is formed early when the child who was capable was given more to carry than a child should carry. And they rose to the occasion. They did their best and they become the truly strong, responsible one, able to hold things together when even the adults around them couldn't do that. And because they did it so well, it became who they thought they were. It became their identity, their operating pattern in life. But underneath this strength was a belief that has never really gone away. And this belief is, if I don't carry this, everything will fall apart. There is no one else, and there never was. Maybe you have never consciously worded that belief, but if you carry this shadow pattern, this belief was your reality when you were growing up, and you're still carrying it inside. And others around you learn to expect that strength, that responsibility, and you feel that this is your part in life without even questioning whether you have a choice or not. It's adaptation that became your prison in a way, because the strength has not had time and space to truly ground and root itself, but it's driven by the fear and sense of looming catastrophe, which brings with it rigidity. It takes away your ability to relax, to let go, to be held by others rather than being always the one who holds. It takes away the permission to soften, because to soften in the shadow means to fail and to betray. And I want to talk about strength, because there are different kinds of strengths. There is one that is firm, unyielding, and there is strength that adapts, moves, has rootedness and ability to involve others. And this is the shift that needs to happen in order for you to embrace the fullness, the true vastness and wisdom of this archetypal pattern. So I invite you to do a practice. Find a few minutes where you have time to be just with yourself and sense the weight that you're carrying on your shoulders. And now imagine that it's a cloak. It's a clothing that you can remove and you can put it down. Imagine putting it down with all the responsibilities, the roles that you carry, and let it just be there for a moment. You can pick it up later. And while you're being there, this cloak on the ground, ask, who is underneath that cloak? What do I feel? What do I really need if I remove all that? What do I long for, just for me? And you don't even need to answer this immediately. Just let that question, let that reality be there. Because this asking, this gaze turned inwards, is already the beginning of the shift. And what is the goal of this archetype? When you start to ground the power and you start to give yourself the softness and holding that you need, it happens to call forth a certain shift in the archetype. Because as long as the shadow pattern runs this archetype, people around it unconsciously trade their own power for the safety it offers. They become smaller so they can feel that they are held. But once you claim the empowered, grounded, rooted part of this archetype, it does something completely different. It inspires others to stand in their own authority. It's not anymore the consolidation of power, but it's multiplication. It's a structure that holds others without constraining them. It's a safety that people can choose to rest inside because it's never a cage. So if you find that archetype in you, the strength you are carrying is real. But what becomes possible now once you recognize that archetype, shadow pattern in you, is discovering how deep this strength can actually grow and how freely it can move in your life when it finally finds its ground. When you are allowed to experience life and this power without the rigidity, without that fear that you've been carrying inside it. So if this feels familiar, I invite you to take the Shadow Archetypes quiz. You can find the link in the description. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. It's for free. And it enables you to pinpoint the main shadow pattern that has been operating in your life, and to start bringing it into your awareness and to start explore this archetype in its full potential that can truly turn this into a really incredible resource in your life.